Hey, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're going to be talking about a viewer suggested subject.
Yeah, we're going to be discussing the differences between prepping and stockpiling.
So usually what we do is we sit down and talk and we discuss matters and whatnot back and forth. Today we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to talk for a bit and I'll put some video in of us actually working and cutting fingers off with saws, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
What are we out here doing?
Well, we are attempting to build raised beds for garden plots for next year because...
No, this year.
This year?
This year.
Well, it's this year, but it's next year. It's this coming year. It's in this coming year. But, no, I've done the gardening thing in the yard before, and...
It didn't go well. We have a very rocky soil here.
Yeah, it's rocky. Welcome to Arkansas, and the tiller didn't like it. We ruined one tiller just because it was too lightweight and had to borrow one to get the rest of the job done.
And it's not very self-sufficient to keep having to borrow equipment and that sort of thing. So we wanted to go do something that was a little bit easier living in town, instead of having to get equipment that, like a plow or tiller and things like that for a garden that we possibly use on a homestead. Instead, we're going to attempt to do raised beds here in town. And it's something that I got to thinking about, is if you do live in town and you're worried about, well, I can't do this because I don't have this equipment or I don't have that. It's a way of becoming self-sufficient that is not going to break the bank.
Yeah.
It's very practical. There's lots of tutorials online on how to build tons of different styles of raised beds. You can go small, big. We're going about 8 by 4 foot, and we're probably going to do more than one out there and just see how it works out. Experimenting, playing, prepping in progress. We're learning as we go. But I got to thinking about becoming self-sufficient as a prepper versus stockpiling. And it's like I said, it was a suggestion in one of our videos, and it really got us thinking when we were building these. It's one thing to just go in, and I'm not saying don't go out and buy your beans and your rices and your lentils and things like that to have a nice insurance policy. But don't treat that as your end goal. I've got my year's worth of food, I've got my solar panels, and I'm done. Treating prepping like a checklist of things to do instead of treating it as a lifestyle to live.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody's got a chainsaw going. The choice of being outside.
You wanted outdoor stuff, you wanted action shots, well, here we go. Rum, rum.
But anyways, treating prepping like a checklist of things. Like, I've got my bug out bag, check. I've got my year's supply of food, check. I've got solar panels on my house, check. All of those things are great to have, but it goes beyond that of turning it into a lifestyle, a self-sufficient lifestyle.
That reminds me of something we're going to talk about again on a future video about bug out bags. If you're going to get a bug out bag, you might want to have a place to bug out too.
Yeah.
Not just have it on the list, okay, everyone says I need a bug out bag. I have no idea where I'm going with this thing, but I've got one.
Definitely bug out location should be on that list of things to do. And not only having the bug out location, but having that staged and working that land and going, okay, this is where I'm bugging out to. Am I able to plant things here? Do I have the equipment that I need already here? Do I have seeds here? Can I continue my self-sufficient lifestyle where I'm going? And that's what I'm saying about making it a lifestyle. Doing raised beds and things like that, getting your hands dirty, really learning. We treat, we call this our in-town house, our college, or our high school, because we can learn and make mistakes here and it not be such a devastating thing. So when we do decide to go and get our homestead, which hopefully will be...
Oh, we've got my cabin, but we're expanding.
Yeah, we're wanting to actually get a large homestead, but we're learning here. And I don't want people to keep putting that off of, well, when I need to, I'll do it there. When I bug out and go to my location, I'll do all that there. And that's a hard learning curve. if you're not learning and making your mistakes now when you've got a safety net,
Yeah.
if you go and try to do that at your location after an event, there's no more safety net to that.
Just, raised beds and gardening as an example. The event has happened, you've got to your bug out location. Have you ever turned the soil at your location? Do you know that there are rocks in the soil? Do you know if it's capable of sustaining plant life?
And sometimes it takes a while to cultivate land. It takes a long time to get the nutrients in there, tilling in manure and fertilizer and things like that into the land to get it nutrient rich enough to sustain a garden in. And that takes years of really putting the effort in. And if you're not doing that continuously, going to your location, maybe just tilling it up, adding some fertilizer to it, and just keeping that soil nice and rich, when you get there, you don't have the ability to do that and not have that safety net like you would learning in an in-town house.
Yes. Now let's go back to stockpiling for a minute. It's been discussed and brought up. You get your 3 years of food, you get your 5 years of food. That should not be the end goal.
Yeah.
Like we were saying.
It's great to have.
My personal opinion, and she sometimes differs with me, so we'll find out, is go ahead, get your 3, 5, 10 years worth of food, store up your buckets, do it. Absolutely, I will never tell you not to. But while you're doing that, keep in mind that the goal should be, that your first goal should be, in my opinion, make it through growing season. If the event happens in fall, well, you've got all winter to deal with and live off of your buckets until spring when you plant, and you've still got to live off your buckets. Wild edibles may be coming up, but it's going to be a while before the fruit bushes bloom and then produce fruit. It's going to be a while before your tomato plants and your celery and your lettuce and your potatoes
And you start producing,
produce food to eat. Now, but once that's going on, at a minimum, use that to supplement your food buckets if you have not gotten to a point with your garden that it's big enough to completely sustain you and put stuff away for winter.
And it goes beyond food. It's not just, and we talked about different, like the checklist. It's not just about having enough food to make it through the winter and then start growing your own. It's about learning now and learning how to be self-sufficient now, wherever you are. I don't care if you're in an apartment building or you're in the middle of an urban environment like us. We're kind of in the suburbs with a bug out location in a very rural area. But wherever you are, start learning how to live that self-sufficient lifestyle now, so you can make the mistakes now and not when it's going to be a life or death mistake.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just food. It goes to solar panels. Solar panels are wonderful. We've got some back there. We're getting ready to hopefully install those somewhere and try to get them up and going so we can learn now. And it's not just about, going out and buying a house or just buying solar panels and go, boom, okay, check, that one's done. It's about learning how the solar panels work, learning how to expand upon them, learning everything you can about those solar panels, because it's your system and you want to know how it operates. Maybe even having a few solar panels in the back just in case some get broke. What happens when a solar panel gets broke?
Charge controllers, multiple charge controllers in storage.
Exactly.
That's one thing I have figured out.
So learning how your system works, really integrating it into different parts, is part of that self-sufficient lifestyle. Not just go out and just buy, but do.
Yeah.
Learn and do. And that's where I said, whether it's food, whether it's bugging out, don't just buy a bug out bag, practice your bug out. Plan. It's a part of doing and not just stockpiling. And that's where I said, I have nothing against having a stockpile. Y'all seen my pantry. I like stockpiling. But it also has to go hand in hand with having a very self-sufficient lifestyle.
All of your systems must be integrated to create a whole.
Definitely. All right, we're going to try working a little bit on these. Are we going to show them me trying to use a skill saw?
Well,
Part of learning.
I'm more comfortable with you than my building skills.
Oh, I see how it is.
I'm looking forward to being the fingerless wonder in a minute. So
he wants me to be the fingerless wonder. I see how it is.
hell yeah.
All right, we're going to get started on these. We'll probably show you how we're putting them together if y'all want to see how we're doing ours. There's, like I said, tons of different ways to do these. Many different sizes that you can do, but you could also do container planting. I know that's a big thing right now for people who live in very small areas, like apartments and things like that, where all you have is maybe a small balcony or just a window. Having containers to be able to grow vegetables, even in that simple of an act, it's learning how to grow. That's what I mean by it's a constant learning curve. It's a constant needing to improve.
It's always in progress.
It's always in progress.
So let's get started.
Let's get started. Okay, we got some 2x4s cut into about 2 foot lengths. I don't know how tall we're going to make it, but right now we're going to make it about 2 planks tall. So we got these deck boards that we're going to use. They're 8 foot. So we cut them in half as well. So we can make it 8 by 4. Super simple, right? So we got our 4 foot lengths, all right, for 8 foot lengths. I'll get the words out one of these days. But we're gonna get these screwed together and see how it turns out.
The words. She has
all
the words.
So that one's gonna go over there.
All right.
On that end. And this one's gonna go over here on this end. And the 2x4s are pretty much going to be our corner pieces, just holding on either sides. All right, guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. They're just going to be holding vegetables. So I'm not going to be worried about square and plum and all those good things. So we're going to try this out, though. I do know machinery. I even know what a chuck key was.
I thought it was something to do with the chuck wagon.
Get a pilot hold of it.
Speaking of chuck wagons, isn't it time for lunch?
I already had lunch, didn't you?
No. I was busy doing your laundry. And cleaning your kitchen.
You weren't making me a sandwich, though.
I'm not a sandwich maker.
All right.
You good?
Yeah. So that's how this one's going to look. I'll put that on that side like that. And we're going to put the shorter board here on this side like that. Kind of make it square. So.
Ugly doggly.
That's the plan, anyways. So
Cool.
Let's get that board up from underneath it. Okay, guys, we got our basic box shape for our raised beds. And now with this, because we did the nice long 2x4s on the ends, we can slowly build up the sides as tall as we might need them. And you can get these deck boards and you can go as tall and as deep as you need to, depending on what you're planting. So we're going to get started on that next.